we love nature. All of us love nature, and 2020 has taken it all away from us. And maybe nature is now feeling a little more relaxed, but we definitely are feeling very anxious because we are not able to go out of our house and be one with the nature. But and being born and brought up in Assam, I think we are very close to nature. We have been brought up in midst of the vast forest lands, the beautiful tree gardens, and that makes us really love nature and miss nature even more this year than ever before. And when I met Vaishnavi, I think that was one of the most interesting part that I felt was she practices forest therapy. I was like, what is forest therapy? We love nature, right? We all love nature, going, taking a walk, watching, sitting on our balcony, watching a green patch of land. But what is therapy in nature? In nature, is there something different process? And Vaishnavi, welcome to Mindfully Sorted. Happy to have you on our panel.
Thank you, Sharmishta. Good to be here.
And Vaishnavi, tell us, we are all waiting to hear from you that how does forest work as a therapy?
Yeah. So actually forest or nature is a therapist on its own. So we are just being present to become mindful about the healing aspects of nature. And people have been in nature from ancient times, being really connected, and in many ways becoming creative and artists and all of those things by being inspired by nature. And it's just that we've lost that connection, unlike how you are, where you are in Assam and being so connected to nature. A lot of us in the city, I've been born and brought up in Bombay and now in Bangalore. It's not as much as what you had, and you're lucky to have that space and that connection. So the therapy aspect comes into place is to deepen this connection that we have with nature in a very mindful, conscious manner. And it was discovered in Japan in 80s. I rather say not discovered, but rediscovered, because it was already existing. It just kind of became more prominent again in the 80s, where they realized that a lot of people were highly stressed out in Japan after working. And luckily, Japan also had large number of forests. And they realized when they put people into forests, they were coming out rejuvenated, like you said. Their stress levels are coming down. And so they really try to figure out what is happening. And that's how they did a lot of research, and they're continuing to do research as to how nature impacts us at a physiological or a physical level, at even a psychological level, at a mental level, even at a social and spiritual level. So they've identified through research as to how all of these impact. And what they realized is that if we utilize all our five senses of sight, smell, all the five senses very mindfully in nature, that is what brings out a lot of positive effects on us, and spending 2-3 hours in nature, even in a week, seems to have that kind of an effect. So they called it forest bathing, which literally meant immersing yourself, like literally having a bath in the forest through the senses. So it is called Shinrin Roku in Japanese. So it was literally translated as forest bathing. And now there's an extension to it of utilizing all of forest bathing practices and adding a therapeutic aspect to it, where there is a trained therapy practitioner who would get deeper into the mindful connection and connecting it to emotions, connecting it to what's happening to you in your life situation. So there are people who probably are going through depression or anxiety or loneliness and all of those things. So at an individual level also, we coach them along with utilizing the forest bathing practices. And at the same time, it can be done at a group level also. So a lot of people go together, and then people can feel calmer. People get to know what are the things they can do, which is not really rocket science, but it helps to have a practitioner because there is a research-based framework which has been identified that works. So when we take people out into nature or forest, we spend 2 to 3 hours, and there are specific things we do, specific activities that we do, which slowly connects them, and at the end they feel rejuvenated and stress-free, or whatever is the objective that we've set. So in a nutshell, that's what it is.
This is so interesting. This is so interesting, even to, that I feel like, being like when next can I go and be part of one of these sessions? And I think mindfully sorted audience, very soon, definitely when things are little normalized, we will arrange a session which is very exclusive with Vaishnavi, and all of us should like really come in, join in, and do some of these practices to kind of reboot our mind from all the lockdown and all the anxiety and everything that we have going through this year. So I am sure a lot of us are waiting to be part of your sessions, Vaishnavi. The question that I have in my mind is that, who benefits? So, of course, one is mindfulness. Second is people who are feeling a little lonely and anxious. It can be a nice mood to, kind of regain some energy, refresh your thoughts, and some of these. But what are some other areas where it specifically helps a lot?
Mm. So actually, nature therapy or forest therapy is there for everyone, for kids, for adults, for senior citizens. So it doesn't really matter who you are. And there could be specific objectives that people may come up with. So there's a lot of research that is done where even mental well-being is being positively impacted. So people who are stressed out, especially for them, it is really useful. People who probably have lost their mojo in life, they just are feeling lost, or people are anxious all the time, or they have panic attacks, depression, loneliness. So a lot of mental illnesses, what research has found out is it does not eliminate it completely, but it definitely reduces.
It's an
So
aid
even
that
something, it's an aid which just helps to reduce. So it could be
right.
bipolar, or it could be schizophrenia. So have had a lot of people who come with all of these also, and they feel a lot of positive effect at the end of it. So it can be for anyone, or it could just be. So why we also say forest is a therapist is because forest understands what you need. So we can never tell this is what you will get, because each one what they want they get. So for some it could just be a sense of calmness, it could just be some me time. For some it could be getting some answers for life questions. Some people, I've come across people who said they've been inspired to write after being in nature for just 2 hours, 3 hours. So it's just that what they're longing for, nature provides it to them. So I would
Just
really say it's
unlock
for anyone.
something in your mind, like, and we have
Absolutely.
to experience it to know that what in your mind is getting unlocked in that whole journey.
Yeah.
I think
Even people won't know it in the beginning. It's only at the end they'll be like, oh wow, this is what happens. So that dimag ki batti jal jati hai types, so they get the aha moment at the end. Yeah.
Right, right, right. So the other part of the question that I feel which comes to my mind, and I'm very excited to first come and join one of the sessions, because in all the rest of the practitioners we did some level of demo session, and which was so helpful for every session that every expert that we bring on the platform, we do some level of sessions or the mode of their style of doing, and we kind of that helps me personally in this whole process. And but I am waiting for this forest therapy. But tell me, if I am sitting at home and I have a little bit of garden around, is there anything that I can do, because I can't come and reach out to you, and of course can't have the entire benefit of what it can, but is there a small mindfulness activity that you can leave us with, who has maybe a little patch of land or some beautiful trees around or a little bit of garden in their balcony? I know it's not comparable to what a forest therapy is. I don't even want to compare the impact, but I am just thinking that if that brings in some different connect for some moment, even that is helpful in the limitations that we have to be sitting at home.
Yeah. Yeah. So absolutely, you can utilize all your five senses, even spend 5 to 10 minutes a day, or as much as you want. Like I would really suggest even taking a break. All of us now are into virtual Zoom sessions or calls back to back. So just taking that 5 minute break, going out to the window or to your balcony, or even like right now also you have beautiful plants behind you, right? So even if you just choose, let's say, one leaf of that bougainvillea plant that you have, and just observe the leaf very mindfully, see how the leaf shape is. What are the various textures that are there, the colors.
Mm-hmm.
See if there are any so-called imperfections. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and multiple colors, not
Mm,
just green, which it generally looks like, but yes.
yeah. And even the shape, and just how it feels on your fingers, is it different in different parts of the leaf? Mm, yeah. And that's what I mean. We just spend 5-10 minutes just really looking deeply. So it goes beyond the cognitive connection of what is the name of this plant or what is the name of this tree or what is the medicinal properties. It's just seen for what it is. Yeah. And like you just mentioned that it has different shades of green. Usually we would only paint green for leaves, but if you notice, there'll be yellow, there'll be brown, there is green. So there's so many shades that you'd start noticing. And that's what all about nature therapy is, that just connecting to elements. It could be looking out at clouds, looking at maybe birds. You may not want to know what the name of the bird is, but just seeing how it is shaped, how the colors are, how big it is, small it is, how it flies, how it sounds. So just utilizing all your five senses and staying with those senses. And it can be done with a vegetable, a fruit, everything around us is nature. It could just be lying in your kitchen, it could just be onions, it could just be potatoes, it could be anything. So just doing that anywhere, anytime, completely
I
okay.
think beautiful because what mindfully people say, has the impact is it breaks the cycle of thought. So, for example, I have been continuously maybe thinking of something which is not very pleasant, something which has happened in my office, one escalation mail, something, and I'm continuously thinking. And all of a sudden, if you just come to the balcony and just look at the plant, and then probably what you mentioned, you just go through the texture and etc. But it just immediately breaks that thought, gives you that gap, and then of course you again come back to that thought, but feel a little refreshed when you come back, and you might see a new perspective which you were not seeing when you were continuously in that thought. So I think that is a
Absolutely.
beautiful way of sharing.
Yeah, bang on. And people do get, like, I've had CEOs of organizations do this, and they'll be having so many problems that they are facing and so many decisions that they have to make. And so many of them would say after this walk or after the session, they just feel like it was not such a big deal. That problem which seemed so big now seems like a small thing, and I know what decision has to be made. It just comes very automatically. So just that space that they got brings a lot of clarity of thought, which is where it impacts at a mental level, how being mindful in nature helps.
How do you use
Yeah.
mandala in this whole thing? So mandala, I have always thought is a very expressive art therapy, and we had done this whole mandalas, how mindfulness and mandala. But very interestingly, I saw some on your pages that you have with in forest you do mandala. How do you do that?
Yeah. So since I do have an expressive art therapy background, I do use a lot of mandalas in therapy sessions, and in nature, just utilizing nature elements to draw has been a huge positive impact. So it can either be for fun, where we do it with children, we just collect whatever's there around that's fallen and make a mandala, or it can be from a deeper aspect of connecting with yourself, connecting with who you are, what you want to do, how you want to live at your life. It can be at a collective level with a group doing it. So we utilize mandalas in different ways, and whatever shows up is in the moment of how they would like to work with that mandala that they have created for themselves. So there are certain specific questions that we would ask, and we listen to what nature has to tell us through the mandala. So that's a very, very beautiful process that comes up. We've had a lot of people in tears when doing that, and it's really impacted their life a lot.
Beautiful. I think that's really nice because I went through the photos, and it really looked nice because as a child we used to do those, collecting different flowers things, making something out of it. But we get so disconnected as we grow up into this whole form of creativity, and then we categorize ourselves, we are not creative versus this is creativity and
Mhm.
XYZ, that we our layerings are too much, and some of these simple
Yeah.
processes and simple exercises probably get us back connected into our those, disconnect us or probably remove some of these conditionings and layering and connect us to the core of it, or maybe things which we used to have fun or enjoy as a child. I think yes.
Absolutely. And you're so bang on. I mean, when we've done mandala work for corporate also, there have been a lot of gender sensitivity discussions that came up, after that, because a lot of men especially would say creative means it has to be done by women and not by us. It kind of looks like a rangoli, so it's not our cup of tea. But at the end of it, they are the ones who are the most enthusiastic, so, and they share what they felt, how it felt. So there's a lot of openness and inclusive discussions that start happening after that. And a lot of insights that come up after this. It's a beautiful process.
Thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for joining us today. And as 28th July, we celebrate Nature Conservation Day. I think it's an apt time for us to connect with nature and to at least know that how nature can technically help us to heal through some of our emotional challenging moment or difficulties that we face from an emotional or mental aspect. So it was beautiful knowing it, and I think it will be something which many of us have not experienced, or many of us even didn't know about it. So it was an eye-opening session, and we definitely look forward that you will be on our platform soon, inviting audiences to come for a live session. Starting with Bangalore, maybe we will explore some forest in and around Bangalore to do a live session with you.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Sharmishta, for calling me onto this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.